it's been a while, folks, but once again it's Saturday night, and we're back once again for about 5 people listening delight. It's Audio Who. Tonight it's back around to the repugnant and respected 7th Doctor with unlimited rice pudding, with Klein and Young Arrowsmith as we complete the trilogy with Daleks Among Us. Yes, we have Kurt Schultz, who makes her flick look like a bad penny. Hello, hello. We have the mystery of Klein's origin, and we have Daleks Among Us, and a very pissed off Davros slapped bang in the middle of this, and he doesn't even know he's a prisoner. What did we think about this tale? Well, you're about to find it. Before we get to that, let's get to this. It's who showed up this evening. Joining us from down under, he has the thunder Sunday morning, just back from work. AJ, how goes it, mate?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good to see you, mate. Down in Texas, you had the beard that must be feared. Texas Tim Wells. Timbo, how's it going, man?
How you doing?
Good to see you, mate. And from NYC, Mr. Medina, good of you to join us in light of certain circumstances. How's it going, mate?
Hey now, how you doing, everybody?
Good to see you, mate. So, guys, Daleks Among Us. We have the third outing for young Arrowsmith as part of the TARDIS team. We end up on, crap, what was that planet's name? I've mind-wiped. I've done a Charlie Brooker mind-wiped.
Azimuth.
Azimuth. We're on the planet of Azimuth. There's a bunker that's been left dormant for 20 years. There's various experiments going on. Davros apparently has a, well, I'll just say it, spoiler alert, a child. But not in the conventional way of which you might think. And we have the mystery of Klein's origin and a very helpful superintendent who takes a shine to young Arrowsmith to boot. What do we think about this? Well, let's begin. Opening thoughts. Will, can I get your opening thoughts, mate, on Daleks Among Us? Sylvester McCoy, Tracy Childs, and I keep forgetting the boy who played Arrowsmith. My apologies.
Arrowsmith, he was played by Kristen Edwards.
There we go. What do you think, mate?
Like you said, this is the third of the trilogy, and this like gives us, you could say, the origin of Klein. Considering that we first met this character, she was a Nazi soldier like that, scientist. So that explains how people who saw her in the first story thought of her as a Nazi. So that explains that spoiler alert, that it's her mother from that was the Nazi like that, and she's the child that was raised by somebody else, you know, to become the scientist that the 7th Doctor sees and works for UNIT. It is unusual, like you said about Will Arrowsmith, that a young lady had you say eyes on him, but her origin was a little complex, considering she kept calling a certain character father like that. So that was.
And we're not talking about your local priest, folks. No.
So that was a little unusual. Davros' appearance was a little bit unusual. I didn't expect him to show up in the story at all. And then listening to his circumstances really was confused me a little bit. And of course, that spoiler alert of his child was a good thing in the story, but it left me with a question I'm going to ask a little later on about that. So that's my opening thoughts for now.
Okay. Timbo, how about this to round off this trifecta of stories for you, mate? Opening thoughts?
It was good. It was good. I think it was a good thing that Davros did show up, because I think otherwise it would have been a more run-of-the-mill story, and I think it gave you the opportunity to have them square off again, the Doctor and Davros. This is technically the first time they've met since the whole 7th Doctor story they did back in the day.
Resurrection.
Yeah, and
you mean
it's interesting, you know, they mentioned the statue with Ace and the baseball bat, albeit naked. And,
yeah, what's that about? What the hell? Yeah.
I guess that was just a reference to the New Adventures, because she's always flopping them out in those, apparently.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah.
But it's a good story. I think it does kind of follow up on some of the questions about Klein and makes her a little bit more sympathetic, because I've always had a problem with, you know, the Doctor traveling around with an old Nazi. I just never thought that was a good idea. And apparently this has been his long game, trying to get her to realize that she's not the creature that she thought she was or whatever. But he really goes about it in the kind of wrong, kind of roundabout way. Will kind of gets on my nerves at this point. Not you, Will, but the other one in the story.
Okay.
Because
I'm about to say what I did.
he seems just to be the bumbling kind of character, and I think that's fine at first, but since I guess this is his first trilogy, I think that he should step up and be a bit more heroic in some way at some point, and prove his usefulness.
Well, you'll be delighted to know he's not appeared since. So maybe some folk have took heed and agreed with you. Only time will tell on that, mate. AJ, what are your thoughts?
I didn't mind this story. It wasn't fast-paced and massively action-filled, but it was a long and slow and methodical story telling basically, you know, Davros' story, the Daleks' story, and even Klein's story of, you know, where she came from, who she really is, what she really is. And, yeah, I quite enjoyed the long game of McCoy's Doctor, yet again playing, you know, the master manipulator, playing with the puppet strings. So I can't wait to see more of this, like, in the future from Big Finish again.
Yeah, I would concur with that. I did like the fact you had 2 or 3 stories intermingled within this one. Yeah, don't worry, Klein, you're not a Nazi. It's the test tube, baby. Like some type of lab rat, you know. Which is better. Well, which didn't assassinate quite a lot of Jews back in the day, so, you know, I guess being the Turkey-based baby is 10 times better on that front. I did explain a few times, though, as well alluded to, it gives you what the deal was all the way back in Colditch when David Tennant was playing a Nazi as well and swearing and trying to rape Asian and all that shit, but yeah.
But that explains why he saw that statue from somewhere.
Well, there you go, yeah. Maybe manipulated, engineered. Davros showing up, I didn't mind it. As AJ, Tim alluded to, give you the confrontation with him. What was the character who played his son again? What?
The character's name?
Yeah.
Was it Falcus?
Falcus, there we go, yeah. Falcus. And then, of course, in the background, you've got this whole situation with the so-called persuasion machine. And as it turns out, Klein's not the one that operates it, it's her mother when she comes back, all the way back from the past in 1940s, Dusseldorf, sticks her head in that big machine and tells everything just to stop. If only they could get me to do that at last call at the bar. But I digress. Well, no, not a bad tale. Rounds off this wee trilogy nicely. And we have another tale with Klein still to tackle sometime down the road, and it involves Unit again. So we'll see how that pans out. Any characters or circumstances that stand out for you in this tale, guys? AJ, anything stand out?
I'm just amazed that basically Klein could take the TARDIS and swan off with it just by watching, you know, the Doctor operate the controls. I mean, there's so many different controls and what they do, they're not labelled or anything, and yet she's learnt how to fly the TARDIS. It goes to sort of show her intelligence and arrogance in her own abilities in a way.
Okay. Tim, I've got a feeling I know who you're going to touch upon here. Hi, Hitler.
Ooh, no. But I would disagree with AJ on that because, to be fair, Leela learned how to fly the TARDIS at one point, and she probably wouldn't know what to do with a rotary telephone. So it is what it is. I mean, I don't think it's that hard to fly once you've been in it a while, I would think. But on the other hand, no, Will Arrowsmith is fine. I didn't mean that he wasn't a good character. He is a good character, but for right now, he's just kind of comic relief, and he's a bit of a bumbler. And it just seems like that by now he should be doing something useful rather than getting them into trouble. Well, like he does in this story at least once or twice. When
yeah, that's right.
I'm supposed to say.
Yeah, you little bastard. There's D's among us. Don't use the full word. You know, D's. Thank you.
But otherwise, I would say the character that impressed me the most in this story was actually Davros, because he's not in charge of the bad guys or whatever. He's just there, and he's trying to get control. And I'm guessing the Doctor just kind of messes it up for him at the end of the day, as always.
Very interesting how he ends up at the end of the story as well after the debt is repaid. Yeah, I wonder how he escaped that one.
Yeah, that's
over to you, Julian Bleach. Yeah, yeah. Well, anything for you, mate?
Wait, like Tim said, Davros stood out because he thought he escaped, and we find out where his consequences is. So that's I look forward to find out how he got out of that. Will Arrowsmith was weird because like he made a mistake by saying the word Dalek. That got him in hot water, and of course like you could say a little bit like he started liking Karen, and of course, and that got him, you know, because he mentioned the word the Doctor to father like that. That's why, you know, he was waiting for the Doctor to show up. So you know, he heard the Doctor, so I got him a little bit hot water. But I didn't know that this was his last appearance. I thought he was gonna appear one more time like that. So maybe
it's his last appearance to date. He might
so far.
You know.
Also, hold on. Also, you got to give the you can say the Davros son, because this is where my question come in. Because as we see, the Daleks always picture themselves as a genetic profession. Even so I was a big surprise when the Black Dalek was killed, because it took orders from the Nazi that took orders from the Dalek Supreme. And I was saying, why would the Daleks take orders from the Dalek Supreme when he looks more human than a pure Dalek? I was perplexed about that. I was a little
brain
bit
patterns. I don't know. You have to explain that one somehow.
And they didn't want to even listen to their creator. Their creator didn't even want to listen to. That's weird. Their own creator.
That's an interesting one. I find it interesting that Falcus just ended up with a big puddle of goo at the end of this thing, man.
It
was kind of similar to Rose at the end of fucking Partner of the Ways when she was destroying everything.
Yeah.
Only it was obviously Klein's mother in the machine. Stop. Yeah.
And it was gross.
yeah, there you go. So, yeah, it was interesting. McCoy's endgame, it's always, square pegs and round holes with this Doctor. It's never really in any succinct order. It's just the only one that seems to know the outcome is him. So it's interesting. I would have liked to know more about the creatures that made the actual Deathway, but they just seem to be a pawn in the puzzle to get the information they needed, and also to serve as a gateway to deal with Davros at the end of the story. But still an interesting take. And of course, we come the end of it, we go and get Klein back out of the dungeon in Dusseldorf, and we're off on new adventures, which have not been recorded or heard yet. So who knows what lies in store down the road.
Considering we haven't seen them escape from that room they were in.
And I must admit, it was really interesting to bring back the whole the shepherd god thing that he imprisoned in the Star Chamber and in the TARDIS and on that planet in the original story. Albeit it was a brief cameo, lasted 5 seconds, but yeah, just again to demonstrate that the awesome powerless of this persuasion machine. So case in point, and point duly served. And with that, guys, open mic portion of the cast. That's what I bring up before we get this rated in the can.
Well, at first I thought it was a bit wrong for her to use her German accent for the latter half of the story completely, but then come to find out that she wasn't Klein. She was actually the other woman, wasn't she?
Yeah, Rona, I believe her name was Rona. Or
so what I thought was initially kind of a mistake on their part wasn't a mistake. It was actually kind of smart. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, when I initially started, I'm like, okay, it kind of makes sense. She's in Dusseldorf. That's probably what they're hearing. But then I'm going, oh, hang on, the TARDIS is there too, so translation circuits and all that. So, yeah.
You got to give the credits to the Daleks that even though Hindenburg thought he was in charge, all they did was let him be in charge while he slept. They went into his mind and pulled out all the weapons information little by little till they got it and they needed him no more.
I love it though. I mean, Tim made the analogy last week when we were speaking about this over here. Hindenburg was just a pure parody of her flick for a while. Funny shit. Anyone else, guys?
Yeah, on Tim's point about her accent changing at the end of the story, for me, because she went back in time, right? Maybe in the Doctor's mind, when he heard her accent, he goes, oh no, she's reverted back to type. Like she reset herself back to the way she was before. The Doctor came along and it changed all of her timeline and whatnot. So that's what I thought in the story anyway.
I found it interesting that Falcus had a superior knowledge than Davros. I mean, it was initially an embryotic experiment like 20 years ago, and he was the end result. Yeah, all right. Why not? Anything else, guys? No.
Kind of I didn't really like how in episode 4 they just redid the part from Genesis of the Daleks where he's over there reciting stuff on tape. I mean, that's fine. That's what they wanted to do that again, but it's just like all it does is remind you of that story and make you think, well, you didn't really need to do that because by this time you're in part 4 and you're wanting to get to the conclusion. So
fair comment. Anything else?
And the weapon at the end was destroyed, right? The mind weapon.
It blew up with the mother. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's right. That's why she
Hmm.
perished. All right.
All right.
Mhm.
Okay. If we've all been easily persuaded, it's that time again.
FYI, if you, every time a woman is not wearing underwear, she always has a pocket full of money. Think about that.
Yeah. Well, the hookers in Reno will love you.
During the election year.
You did say election year, didn't you?
Yep.
Daleks Among Us. Sylvester McCoy, Tracy Charles, and Chris Edwards. AJ, what do you get out of 10?
I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10, especially towards the end of the story with the Star Wars reference. You're too short to be a stormtrooper.
Yeah. Pop culture references are creaking in here. Why not, Big Phoenix? Go you. Timbo, what do you reckon, mate?
yeah, I'd agree with that. 8.5 is good. It's a good story. Nothing groundbreaking or unusual, but it was pretty good.
Okay. What's the number for man? YC, Will?
Well, I'm going to give it an 8.5 also. You know, it's a good ending of a trilogy, and it answers some questions that we were wondering about.
And guess what, kids? We have a full house. Ding, ding, ding. Blow the bugles, sound the trumpets. Where's the balloons and the confetti? It's 8.5 from me. Interesting tale. Rounds off a nice wee trilogy. By no means perfect, but still enjoyable nevertheless. Bada bing, bada boom. We have ways of making you talk, and we are done. And with that, guys, done, dusted, and finito, and in the can for the evening. It just leaves us to divulge what we'll be tackling in 2 weeks' time. It is back to the turn of Paul McGann and Ruth Bradley as we conclude Dark Eyes Season 1 with not one, but 2 stories in the one go. We'll tackle episodes 3 and 4, entitled, Will?
Angle, Web, and X and the Daleks.
There you go. Toby Jones' master plan will be unveiled, and you might even get a shock as to what happens to him come the end of the tale as well. So yeah, we look forward to tackling that and completing Season 1 of this 16-part saga. And with that, guys, please check out our buddies in the wonderful wack of the world of the YouTube. You've got the guys and dolls that keeps assembled with their TV, audio head, and movie reviews. You've got Dr. Freedom Reviews broadcasts and the adventures of Dr. Freedom and Eric, as well as our buddies who are always online, Mike Shannon, Johnny Boyd, Sammy Carter. Like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. We're getting the hell on it here. It's time to go drink beer. And, you know.
And give the middle finger to the 2 tots that didn't show up.
Well, to be fair, one's at a birthday party and the other one's probably just, I don't know, washing his hair. So maybe next week. And with that, we'll say good night to the Rainbow Connection. Be excellent to yourself, folks, and each other, and be seeing you.